When somebody first mentioned healing art to me, I thought it was a pile of horse crap. Turns out I was right. So the other day, I was teaching a healing art workshop to 25 drill sergeants. Usually, when I first start teaching them, their defenses are up, their arms are crossed, sunglasses on, and outwardly questioning the validity of what we're about to do. So I break down their defenses with a lot of jokes and a whole lot of four-letter words mixed in. So this one group was working on a collage piece based on the prompt, "What are your privates like when they first arrive?" So I slid them a piece of crafting paper and said, "Get creative." Well, they took it and disappeared. In fact, they were gone so long, I thought they'd had enough of the feel-good BS for the day and left. Nope. A few minutes later, the sergeants returned from the pasture and plopped their crafting paper down in front of me, and I could see all they did was pick up a pile of horse poop. So I was like, okay, I feel what you're going for here, but this is what they created. It was a good day for me as well as the sergeants. They not only created something together, but laughed, shared stories, and connected with each other on a deeper level than they normally would. See, this is the essence of what healing art does. It facilitates communication between groups of people through creative projects like collaging, painting, candlemaking, improvisational theater exercises, writing, or music. Art for some people can be intimidating, so it's important for the workshops to be instructed in a way that's easy, fun, and approachable so that participants can kind of ease into the process. So why is the healing art process more effective than group therapy? Well, has anybody been in a class where you've got to sit around in a big circle and talk about an uncomfortable subject? Right? Like no desk in front of you, nothing to fidget with? Did you feel empowered and confident to speak your mind? Or did you feel a little more vulnerable and insecure? Group therapy is a lot like that scenario. But now imagine this same uncomfortable subject being discussed in a group that's smaller, maybe 5 people around a table, where you've got access to magazines and art supplies to help convey your individual and group ideas. Oh, and you're allowed to talk and laugh and move around the table. Does that sound like a friendlier environment to share your feelings? Because of the size of the groups, the activities, and the ability to be active, healing art workshops are a lot less threatening environment for revealing feelings. Participants, therefore, engage in deeper, more meaningful conversation than they would in conventional group therapy. Well, let's examine one healing art participant. He's a 47-year-old former defense contractor whose story is the perfect example for how healing art can improve somebody's life. So 5 years ago, before coming to healing art workshops, he was living with family, penniless, and going through rehab for his 5th traumatic brain injury. He was learning to walk, talk, and read again. His injuries had left him blind in one eye, deaf in one ear, and a slew of other injuries. Dude, he was stuck. He was trying to find his path in life. Was he going to be a man with a disability or a disabled man? In addition to the being blind and deaf, At that point in his life, 5 years ago, he had already suffered 2 blast injuries as a bomb technician, 2 suicide attempts. He had 2 failed marriages, years of therapy for PTSD and anxiety, and he tells me there's a drunken skinny dipping accident mixed in there somewhere. Well, one night his therapist emailed him a link and said, "You need to watch this." So he did, and it was a live webcast where the bass player from Pink Floyd had gone to Walter Reed Medical Hospital, and he took a group of injured soldiers, and he taught them how to sing and play guitar. Then in front of a live audience and a huge audience and live internet stream, they performed 4 songs. Well, this was the first time the contractor had seen people with similar injuries to his being creative and vulnerable, but yet enjoying every second of their time together. This sparked his interest in healing art. After that emotional performance, his heart beamed with a sense of direction he hadn't felt in a long time. So he went home and he took stock of his tools, and he realized he couldn't sing or dance or play an instrument, but he had a cell phone, and it had a camera. Well, that night he began taking pictures. He began retraining his brain to see through a new lens. Rather than looking in the world for all the things that could kill him, he began noticing the beauty that was around him all the time. Well, after getting comfortable with his skills, he ventured out into the world and began doing art with groups. Healing art made a tangible, positive impact on this defense contractor. And since practicing healing art in groups, he's displayed improved cognition, social interaction, and reduced depression. He's also shown reductions in stress and anxiety, as well as positive emotions. Physical expression of emotions reduced his repetitive, depressed thoughts and transformed them into creative energy. Healing art unlocked critical and analytical thought processes the brain injuries were thought to have suppressed. Focusing on the process of creating art put his mind in a happier, simpler place, which allowed him to move on beyond those unhealthy memories that kept him tethered to his past. Talk therapy was helping. It was helping to ease his depression and access his past. But healing art unlocked this higher level of expression he could only channel when he was being creative. He did want to work again, but he wasn't sure in what capacity. Art filled those occupational voids and distracted his thoughts regarding illness and the trauma he'd been through. Well, after facilitating workshops with diverse groups for several years, he's now the director of healing art programs at a local retreat center. Teaching healing art has been the perfect distraction from his own disabilities and given life purpose again. I mean, his own physical limitations don't go away, but for chunks of time, he can get lost in art, which helps him forget. Well, so this defense contractor we've been talking about is me. Exploring and evaluating your own alternative therapies is different for everyone. It's a different journey. But conventional therapies like medications and physical and occupational therapy are great. But man, healing art, it's such a powerful tool to help you overcome adversity. So I say, get out there, take some pictures, bang on a drum, splatter some paint on a canvas. Remember, it doesn't have to be pretty. And if a hardened group of drill sergeants can let their guard down and make art out of horse crap, don't you think you can too? Thank y'all.